Hello everyone, welcome to Making the Tea Rational, where I make all the tea and gossip make sense. Fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I wanted to come on here and speak about the issues with Brittnay, Woo Wop's mother, and of course Dub's ex-girlfriend, and Dub's current girlfriend, Aaliyah. And the video that Brittnay made speaking about how she didn't appreciate how Aaliyah spoke to Woo Wop when Dub took them out to dinner. It looks like they were at either a Chinese or a Japanese restaurant, and Aaliyah had asked Woo Wop for his plate, and it's the way she asked for it that has Brittnay upset. She feels like Aaliyah doesn't respect Woo Wop. She doesn't like how she talks to him, and she stated that she's had a few issues with how she treats Woo Wop. And I'm assuming it's from the videos that Dub made, and she watched how Aaliyah interacts with Woo Wop from time to time. And she just, Brittnay feels like Dub, doesn't care when she has issue with how Aaliyah speaks to Woo Wop, that Dub basically, dismisses her. He doesn't care about how she feels about how Aaliyah speaks to Woo Wop. But Dub needs to understand that, just like Brittnay stated, and I do agree, that Aaliyah's not Woo Wop's mother, for one thing. And Woo Wop didn't do anything for her to even speak to him in that manner. Wasn't like he refused to give Aaliyah his plate. It wasn't like he was purposely sitting there ignoring her or even taking his time. He really didn't deserve that. How she spoke to him. And basically what Aaliyah did was she was like, "Give me your plate," and balled up her lip, and she seemed like she looked very irritated about, Woo Wop just having to pass her the plate. Because it wasn't like she asked him repeatedly. She just asked him once, and she just like, "Give me your plate." But it wasn't just that incident. It's like just throughout the whole time that she was making his plate, she was talking to Woo Wop kind of snappy, like she had attitude with him. Because I didn't see her speaking to anyone else at that dinner table like that. And she waited until Dub walked away before she did it. But I don't think she cares. I think she'll do it in front of him because he defended her.
This spicy mayonnaise. I gotta go check my yeast.
That's sweet.
Bourbon.
Okay.
Hey.
Here, let me do it, baby. Just give me your plate. I'll do it. I know, but let me get your plate so I can serve everything for you. Eat that chicken. I don't care about that chicken. It's this water.
You don't like it.
That's why I don't even know why. Are you gonna eat that? So eat it. Put the whole thing in hot. That's why you should have waited. I was gonna make your plate.
And another thing I don't understand is that, didn't Aaliyah see that the chicken was too hot for Woo Wop's mouth? Now, she told him to eat the piece of chicken, and you can clearly see the chicken was too hot for his mouth, and he needed something to put the chicken on. And that's what he was trying to do, and she balled up her mouth and said, "Give me the plate," after she told him to eat the chicken. So he ended up having to take a piece of napkin that was on the table to eat the chicken, try to eat it as fast as he could so he could give her the plate. And she didn't get that. But all Aaliyah is doing is trying to practice to be Dub's wife, and she's trying to treat Woo Wop like one of her kids. That's what she called herself doing. But I still agree with Woo Wop's mother, and that, you need to try to be nicer. You don't talk to people's kids like that, because he's still not her child. Doesn't matter if she's with his dad. She should still be nicer. She has to understand. And like Aaliyah said, if she was in Woo Wop's mother's position, she would understand. Yes, of course she would, because she knows that she pretty much was a homewrecker. I understand Woo Wop's mother and Dub were not married. Brittnay were not married, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is they were still common law. They were common law. They lived together, been together for years, ever since Woo Wop was born. So, with that being said, she is a bit of a homewrecker. They were in a relationship. So, with all that being said, and then you talk to the lady's child like that, she's not going to like it. I mean, that's just not rocket science. It would be like if it was the other way around and Brittnay was talking to her child like that. But she's doing it because she's getting something out of it. Like I say, Dub is providing financial help to her. So, of course, she's going to try to do whatever she can to draw that man in, to keep him. They break up every 5 seconds, but I guess she's trying to show him that she's willing to be Woo Wop's second mother. But, okay, we'll see.
Right. So, there was a lot of opinions, blah, 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 but nobody can tell me how to feel about what I saw. What I saw was someone balling their lips up at my child. When I was younger, and an adult used to ball their lips up at you like that and say anything that they say, that is a tactic to scare a child. One, my child is not about to be scared of nobody, adult or not. I am the type of person where if you're not family, you're not going to talk to my child any kind of way. I don't care who friend you are, who girlfriend you are, even if it was a dude that I was talking to, my boyfriend, whatever, you're not about to talk to my child any kind of way. I have somebody that I talk to, and I've been talking to him for almost a year, and I let him know. I don't allow anybody to talk to or treat my child any kind of way, and he knows that. So even when I brought the situation up to him and I asked him, was I tripping? He said, from the outside looking in, they might look at it like you're tripping, but me knowing you, and I know how, what's the word I could use? I know how overprotective you are over your child. I would say you're not tripping, but the internet's going to say you're tripping. But I'm not tripping, because my son, I'm going to make sure he's protected 100%. So again, if I say that I don't want somebody doing something pertaining to my child, then that's just what it should be. Same as if his dad was to call me, or his dad made a reaction and said, I don't like the way such and such do this with my child, then it would just be that. And I know I'm not tripping, because I called my mama, she said I wasn't tripping. I called my sister, she said I wasn't tripping. And I called my baby daddy mama, and she said I wasn't tripping. So therefore, like I said, when I seen the video, every time I reach out, nothing gets done. So that was the whole purpose of me making the video. Don't ball your lips up at my kid. That's that. And that's what it should be.
Dub made a whole video talking about how nice Aaliyah was after Brittnay made her video talking about how she didn't like how Aaliyah speaks to Woo Wop. So I guess Dub just wanted to piss Brittnay off even more by making a video coming to Aaliyah's defense and basically saying how nice she was. But regardless to how Dub feels about how nice Aaliyah is, just like Brittnay said, Aaliyah's not even Dub's wife. She's not even his fiance. She's just a girlfriend at that. Okay, and it's not like Brittnay has access to her kids, and just like Brittnay said, she wouldn't even speak to nobody else's kids like that. You have to have patience with kids. And Woo Wop was sitting there quiet. He wasn't, a little more quiet than I normally see him, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. But she just kept snapping at him, talking to him like she was irritated with him. So I just believe she's doing it, one, because Aaliyah sees how Dub treats Brittnay, and Dub has no respect for her. I mean, we've all seen how Dub talks to Brittnay and how he talks about her. How he lets other people talk about her, even when they were together, and he never really defended her. So you see, it's obvious that Dub likes Aaliyah a little differently than he like Brittnay. He treats her a little differently. He treats Aaliyah like trash. Let's just be honest. He doesn't treat her nicely, but when it's compared to Brittnay, he's gonna, big Aaliyah up because that's who he's with right now. So, and all that's gonna do is really piss Brittnay off even more, because that's still her child at the end of the day. Woo-Wop is still her child. Aaliyah is not his biological mother. Brittnay is. So she just felt like, Dub needs to take control of that situation and maybe put him in place, or, speak to him in a manner if he's been misbehaving or whatever. She doesn't feel like Aaliyah should be the one disciplining Woo-Wop. And I agree with her, because first of all, you have to look at it this way. Aaliyah was the side chick once upon a time. And Aaliyah and Brittnay almost got into a fight because of that mere reason, And the fact that Dub disrespects Brittnay, I feel like Aaliyah is giving her, like the free, she feel like it's okay for her to disrespect Brittnay because Dub is on her side. And I just don't think it's right. I don't know why these girls that the guy cheated on with, they always seem like they have more hostility towards the mother of their child when they're the one who cheated with the guy behind the mother's back. Brittnay and Dub was once upon a time in a relationship. And he was basically living another whole life according to what, they were saying that, with Aaliyah. I believe he had an apartment somewhere else with her or something like that. And was living with that girl for like about a year. I think before Brittnay even found out about them. I think she had some idea because, like she said, Dub wouldn't come home and all that. She would call him and all that mess. So he just never had any respect for Brittnay. He didn't care how she felt about anything. You saw it, go down. How he disrespected her, trying to meet with other women online, and she comes in there talking about you not single. And he's laughing about it. He didn't take her serious. She was basically a joke to him.
You sure you want me to record this stuff?
Huh?
No, keep recording.
What'd you say?
I don't know if I should record
what'd you say?
this. Should I record this?
She ain't naked, is she?
No, but...
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So what do you have to say?
Oh, what is this?
Your messages. Why are you squinting like that? You know exactly what that is.
Never seen it.
How? Let me see your phone. Where's you going?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Hey, bro, I wasn't part of this shit! Oh my god, bro, she run hella fast!
Before I even get into any of this, before I even walk in the store, let me say this, bro. One of the you ain't gotta do that with that. One of the nicest people that I've ever met in my life, and the reason why this person is in my life is Aaliyah, right? And I've seen a clip recently where somebody said that she was being mean to Woo-Wop. That was completely false. She has never been rude to Woo-Wop. This thing that my mama used to do, right? My mom used to do this thing, but when my mom was doing it, she was being mean. My mom used to be like, she used to do shit like that, right? So I do that now. I do it for funny. I'm just being funny. So she asked Woo-Wop to give him the plate. Woo-Wop was talking. She's like, give me the plate. I do that all the time. Like, I literally, every time I talk off camera or on camera to a kid, I'll be like being funny. Like, that's the nicest person. I wouldn't let nobody disrespect. Anybody in this world know I love Woo-Wop more than the sun and the earth and the air I breathe. Nobody can be disrespectful to Woo-Wop. The first time me and my brother fought in November of 2022 when I bought that car is because he was being mean to my son. He didn't say something mean. He just said something Woo-Wop didn't like, and me and him start arguing. That's what happened. It wasn't even mean. I let nobody disrespect Woo-Wop at all. And if Aaliyah was being mean that day on that stream, y'all would have said it. That's the thing I hate about clips. I seen that clip. When I walked to the bathroom, I came back. I looked on TikTok, I seen that clip. I'm like, what the f would they say that for? That's one person that respects my son 100%. I don't let nobody disrespect Wu Up. Not my mama, not nobody. I don't let nobody disrespect them. For somebody to make that clip and for it to get blown out of proportion the way it did was disgusting. Like, that's one part, like, I can't have that on anybody's name because I don't let nobody do it. Period. So that little narrative that y'all put on there, I like the clips. Keep the clips going. I'm not saying stop the clips. Keep the clips going. It makes me bigger. I f with it. But the way that y'all throw narrative sometimes, I don't like that sometimes. But one thing about her, bro, she's never been disrespectful to Wu Up. And I've never been disrespected to I've never been disrespectful to her kid. She never been disrespectful to mine. I don't disrespect. I'm a very respectful person. On the internet, I might say whatever to get clipped or get the views or get money on the internet, but off the internet, I'm very respectful. I don't say anything disrespectful. I say excuse me to people off the internet. On the internet, I gotta be a character. But I'm not going with that narrative, bro. That is a great woman, and that woman has never disrespected or even said something remotely wrong to Wu Up. I know that if...
And Brittnay stated that Dub actually put Aaliyah and her 2 kids out of his car. I'm assuming when they got into it one day, he actually put them out and made them get home the best way they could. Because Brittnay said, there's no way I could be with a man and keep trying to prove a point behind a man that put me out and my 2 kids out of his car and made us find our way home. Nobody wants this man. I spoke on how I felt about my kid, but you want to go there, so let's go there. So basically, you can just tell they don't get along. And Aaliyah, she does make little snide remarks, about Brittnay. And, Brittnay's basically responding to what Aaliyah's putting out there. She's just matching her energy pretty much. But Aaliyah will stay with Dub. She don't care what Dub does to her. It doesn't matter how he treats her kids. She's going to stay. Because ultimately, it's about financial security. You can just tell. That's just my opinion on it. I mean, it has to be. What else could it be? Who's going to sit by and let a man treat them like that? If Dub didn't have money in his pocket, do you think she would even be with Dub? I mean, let's just be real. Do you think she would have even given him an opportunity to even become her boyfriend or anything else? And a man put you and your kids out the car and you're going to pursue that relationship? All you thinking about is, hey, I have to be tied to this money. So it doesn't matter what he does to me. I'm going to keep moving forward until I get to the finish line. I mean, that's what it just is coming off as. I mean, who will stay with a man putting you and your kids out of their car? And the kids are not even his. And for what I'm hearing, the rumors are that Aaliyah's kids are by 2 different men. So I guess Dub is, he's a potential 3rd baby daddy. Providing he never marries her, And Dub is not so sure he wants to do that. He made a video talking about that. So he's trying to protect it. He's going to definitely protect his money one way or the other. You going to sign that prenup, or I don't think he's going to marry you. So, I mean, then maybe she'll say, okay, well, if you don't marry, I'm going to try to get a baby out the ordeal. At least I can secure myself with child support. Come on now. I mean, the writing is on the wall. And all this stuff that Dub try to talk about, black versus Mexican. Now, black men need to start looking at certain things. I mean, your eyes are kind of closed. You're thinking with the wrong head, brothers. Come on now. I mean, it's crystal clear what it is, but whatever. I mean, Brittnay, like she said, she knew like she dodged a bullet with that. She said she don't care. She don't want Dub. She's like, good luck with that. It's not like he's treating you any better. Because he buy you a purse or 2, buy your mama a TV and all this different kind of stuff. It's all materialistic. Look at how the person treats you. It doesn't matter what kind of money they have. Because at the end of the day, are you going to be happy in that relationship? from the long haul? Are you going to sit back and be delusional and pretend like what's happening is not happening? That's how you end up in abusive and toxic relationships, when you do things like that. But hey, knock yourself out. And to top things off, didn't Aaliyah make comments about Brittnay and basically was body shaming Brittnay, stating that she looked like a linebacker because she's kind of short, and she has a little more weight than Aaliyah has on her. She's sitting up here liking comments of people talking about Brittnay's body type, So, I mean, you just look at all these different things, and people have the audacity to wonder why Brittnay feels the way she feels about Aaliyah chastising her child, speaking to him in a way that's supposedly motherly, but really not respected because, like, again, she's not Woo Wop's mother. She didn't give birth to him, just like Brittnay didn't give birth to her kids. So I just don't see where the problem is and why people don't understand where Brittnay is coming from. Of course, Dub is going to look at it from a different perspective, a lens, because he's with Aaliyah now. Aaliyah is his girlfriend. So, of course, he's going to see it from a different lens. So what he's saying is just, he's just defending the person that he's with right now. Talking about Aaliyah's nice. She's not too nice because of how you guys got together, and then how she was talking to Brittnay, talking about how they had an apartment and all that. She was the one who, that's right, she was the one who exposed that, saying that they had an apartment together somewhere in Hollywood, and that the bed that him and Brittnay stayed, were sleeping on, that they had been and got rid of that bed and all that kind of stuff. Just doing way too much. But then, I know everybody's kind of confused because when Brittnay was at Halo's party, she kind of was talking to Aaliyah like she was her friend. So, that's kind of strange, but you can tell that they were kind of getting into it and that they really just don't like each other. It's there. You can see it. So that's why Brittnay's getting upset. That's another reason why she's getting upset about how Aaliyah's talking to Woo Wop. But yeah, she's his mother first, so the Aaliyah should just respond and respect what Brittnay is saying, because that is her child at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if she's with Woo Wop's father. He still has a mother, a biological mom, and if she doesn't like the way she's speaking to her child, she should respect her. That's how I feel anyway. I mean, you guys tell me what you think. Do you think Brittnay should just let it go and allow Aaliyah to just do whatever she wants with Woo Wop in terms of, disciplining him? And for the people who are saying that Brittnay is overreacting and that she should just allow Aaliyah to speak to Woo Wop how she wants to and didn't see it as a problem, who raised you guys? I mean, you must don't have kids or something. Or something is going on with the way you see things, because now if it was your child and you were trying to get in when your child was sick and your ex-girlfriend locked the door so you couldn't get to your sick child, now you will have a problem with that. So I don't understand why people don't see it from a mother's perspective. Regardless if it's Brittnay or whatever, you'll be upset if somebody did you like that with your child when you're trying to get in to see about his well-being or her well-being. And then another factor to it is that he's also helping to take care of Woo Wop, so he doesn't care. Dub said that he's on child support now, so I don't know if it was court ordered or something that they agreed upon so they wouldn't have to go to court. I'm not sure what that is, but I do remember Brittnay stating that she was taking Dub to court to get that arranged. But I disagree. I don't feel like any woman that's not a man's wife, just like if a man came into the relationship with Brittnay and talked to Woo Wop a certain way or tried to spank him or whatever, I don't feel it's right either, unless there's some type of respecting there, and they talk and they have that type of understanding. But I don't really think that, another woman should come in the picture and say anything. Aaliyah needs to leave the disciplining up to Dub. That's just how I feel. Now, as long as Woo Wop ain't doing nothing like putting his hands on her or nothing like that, you know how some kids are, that's different. But, he didn't do anything. And I know he wouldn't do that. He knows his dad will get on him. Dub stays on Woo Wop. He's always, kind of yelling at him and different things. And I don't understand why Dub treats him like that. I think Dub needs to have more of a father and son bond with him instead of treating Woo Wop like he's a grown man. That's another thing. Let Woo Wop be a kid. But I just don't feel like any woman who was once upon a time the side chick, because I'm sure there's still old wounds there for Brittney. And then to see that girl treating her son like that, Brittney probably feels like when the cameras are off, how you treating him when you're not recording? When I can't see it, what are you actually doing to him? But I'm sure Woo Wop would tell his mother if she was really ridiculous, if she was trying to spank him and hit him or whatever. I'm sure he would say something, possibly. Unless he was afraid to, because his dad would get mad at him. I mean, it's just a lot of things that go on with that. But I just feel like that's the root of the problem. It's the fact that Brittney and Aaliyah had problems in the past, and she's the one that Dub cheated on her with. So, of course, even more so that she's probably pissed off, but Brittney has to understand later on they're going to have to meet again face to face, because if she remains in Dub's life and Dub perhaps marry her, he goes along with it and marry her like fool. Anyway, because it just seems like she is there for the money. I mean, what woman would tolerate the things that Dub does to her and stay in that relationship? Dub literally treats that girl like garbage, and she's just sitting there taking it in. And he's saying she's nice. Of course he's going to say she's nice, because look at what she's tolerating from him. And that's somebody he's with right now, But he does treat Aaliyah like she might not be around long. Maybe he like her for now, but we'll see. I mean, if anybody cares, but I'm just saying, I do agree with Brittney on this one, that she shouldn't talk to Woo Wop like that. She should let Dub discipline him, because she's really not his mother. And like I say, Brittney's she don't have access to her kids like that. And she's not, like she said, she would never talk to anybody else's kids like that. And she just don't understand why Dub doesn't do or say anything about it. Because he don't feel like she's doing anything wrong, because that's the person he's laying next to from time to time. That's the person that he's with right now. And so he's not going to upset her or do anything to jeopardize their relationship. So he wants to, and then also he wants to piss Brittney off. That's another thing. That's another part of it. So you guys tell me what you think. Do you think Brittney was overreacting because of how Aaliyah was speaking to Woo Wop? Do you think Aaliyah has a right to speak to Woo Wop in the manner that she was speaking to him? And do you think Dub should be the one to discipline Woo Wop if he's doing anything that's wrong? So tell me what you think in the comment section. Share my video. Please give me a like, and please do not forget to subscribe before you exit. And everyone have a nice day.